Hi, I'm Elaine Brewster. Welcome to Aspects of Energy, a forum where we talk about ways to raise your energy. And if you have read my book, Scott's Choice, you remember that my husband was very committed to athleticism and exercise. And I also have been, and as we get older, we need to really remember to move every day. These are some of the people who have actually been here on Aspects of Energy. Tara Sakadina from Arizona, a dance teacher. Connie Livingston, she teaches older people. Adam Dyer was our Spider-Man and still teaches dance and movement. Vanita Ayer teaches Tai Chi. Chrislyn Elliott was our first person who taught yoga and has retreats, and Dave Jones, a personal trainer. So today we feel so fortunate to have Karen Taylor with us. She teaches yoga out at a wonderful center called Purify Wellness, where they have a Himalayan salt room. So everybody here on this call, and if you're coming in later, Himalayan salt is actually very good for your body. And to be in that salt room and they infuse it, they send it out into the room, and you just sit there on beach chairs and you just breathe in all of that healthiness. So this is one of the places that she is. Karen also with her husband has some rentals, and they had a little bit of a flooding problem this morning. And after the flooding problem, she went to teach yoga and found that it centered her and made her feel better. So today she's going to share with us what you can do on a chair. Take it away, Karen.
Okay, can everybody hear me all right at this distance? Okay. So thank you, Elaine, and thank you for having me on your program this year. I love to share my love of yoga. It's something that has helped me over the years. I started it in my early 40s and very quickly became a teacher. And I taught for about 12 years at a place called Bodhi Yoga, which is where I took my training, which is it's not far from where I live in Provo. And I went on to take a lot of trainings at that studio on all different modalities. And, you know, truthfully, I haven't done a lot with chair yoga, but my goal for us today, just because I do a lot of regular yoga, but they're really, my goal for us today is to realize that there's really so much we can do, even if we have limited mobility, even if we have limits of you know, only being able to be in a chair when we do this. We still can bring so much to the body through this exercise, and just adding flexibility, adding in the breath, which is so important to yoga. So today I thought what we could do is I'm just going to take you through kind of like a full body, like really stretching routine. Okay. A lot of times, and you know, people can use this, even say that you're an office worker or you have to sit in a chair most of the day because of your work. You can always push back and take just a few minutes to do some of these exercises, and it just sort of washes the body with new energy, new oxygen, and can really help us to not get locked down into that, you know, hunched over position that we tend to get into when we're in a chair. So if you ladies are ready, and if you have a chair handy and you want to follow along with this, that'd probably be the very best. And we're just going to start right here. We're going to just kind of sink into our bodies a little bit, maybe just jiggle a little bit and just kind of feel how your body's feeling today. Okay, you may have limitations or maybe some things that are hurting, but for now, we're just going to kind of relax back in our chair a little bit. We're going to let our shoulders sort of just release from our ears and just kind of relax. We're going to go ahead and put our hands right here on our thighs, and we're just going to take a deep breath in. We're going to take the first one in through our nose. So inhaling up, and then exhale with a sigh. Just let it all out through your mouth. We're going to do 3 of those big cleansing breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Good. One more time. Nice deep breath. And exhale. And just let it all go. So I just want you to feel the difference, even with those 3 deep breaths, okay? If you're going throughout your day and you're having a little bit of stress, sometimes it's good to just sit down and breathe like that. Very simple. Okay, so we're gonna start with just inhaling up and reaching up with our hands. So as you do this, I want you to go nice and slow. Hands come together. We press the hands together as we reach down, okay? Keeping our hands very active, coming back to the heart. Good. And then another deep inhale. And exhaling, hands back, right to the heart center. Good. And one more. Inhale. You can look up at the ceiling and exhale. Good. Hands coming back to center. Good. And then we're just going to start with a little bit of mobility through the fingertips. So we're going to take our hands and just start to move our fingers. Sometimes our fingers get so locked down, and as we age, they start to have little aches and pains. But just some in and out with the fingers. And then we're going to add to that the wrists. Okay. Sometimes we really forget about the wrists, and that's something that can get really locked up when we're on the computer and doing things like that. And we're just going to let the elbows kind of get into it too as we move the wrists around and back and forth. Good. And just feel how good that feels to just kind of add that little bit of mobility here through the wrists and the arms. Good. And then we're going to start with some big stretches. We're going to reach up and around, and these are for the shoulder. So take care if you have any shoulder injuries or pain. You may not be able to do the full circle, but we're going to just circle around. So as you come up, you lean forward, reach up, and then turn the palm out as you come around. Be very careful with your shoulder here as we move through. Don't do anything that hurts you. I don't, I'm not able to check in with you and see what individual bodies have going on. So we just want to caution you always to just take care of your own body and just be super careful. Good. I love this stretch for the shoulder. Good. So we'll do 4 more on this side, lifting up. So as you go very slowly and very particularly so that you're just stretching through and you're going way back with the arm. Pay attention to where your hand is facing. So as you come up, turn the hand out to the side as you come around. Good, and down we go and reach really far out. Good, this is our 3rd one. We have 1 more to go. Good, and pay attention. If you have any little hurts there, you might want to stop and just, kind of go very slowly so that you're not hurting it more. Good, and coming back to center. Awesome. So from here, we're going to start a little bit with the neck. So our necks carry a lot of weight, and we're just going to start with some small little circles, and also be very careful with this. I sometimes like to go not the full circle, but just taking my chin down and to either side, because we do have to be so careful with our necks. So just a small little circle. We're just circling back and forth and just being very careful. Good, and coming back to center. And we're going to make sure we're sitting up really nice and tall. I wanted to mention that when you're doing chair yoga, it's nice if your feet can touch the floor. And so sometimes we have to maybe sit a little bit more forward on our chair, but we want to always have good posture as well. So sitting up nice and tall. And then we're just going to take the head over to the right. And we want to be very gentle here. I know I personally have something going on here in my neck, and I want to be just super careful. So that's why I'm just going to let my hand guide me through it. And as I kind of get to the full stretch here, I'm going to just go ahead and deliberately take a couple of breaths. So inhaling through the nose, exhaling out through the nose. Good, one more time. Good. And then just letting the head come back to center. Then we're going to do the opposite side, just very gently bringing our hand over, just guiding it to where you feel that full stretch. Okay. It may not be very far, and that's just fine. But once we get there, then we want to just take in a few deep breaths. So inhaling through the nose and out through the nose. And one more time, inhale deep. And exhale. Good, and then just letting the head float back to center. As we do yoga, I want to mention that the breath can actually help you to develop more flexibility, and just by adding oxygen in, and then as we breathe in when we're in a stretch, it just sort of lubricates everything and just helps you within that stretch and helps you settle into it. So it's really, really important to keep breathing during our practice. So from here, we're going to take a little twist. We do a lot of twisting in yoga, which is so good for keeping the spine nice and flexible. One of my yoga teachers likened it to actually wringing, kind of with the spine is like a sponge, and that it actually sort of wrings it out of all the old stuff. And then as you breathe and to come out of that stretch, it just brings back in all the new, good, vibrant things, energy to that. So we're going to take just a really simple one here. And I'm going to have you use the back of your chair. Now, again, I want you to sit up really tall through the spine. And then let's take that left hand over to the right knee. And it doesn't matter which one, because we're going to do both sides. But I just sort of hook my arm around the back of that chair, if it's possible. If it's not possible, you can just keep it out to the side. I know some chairs are a little bit taller. And as we're in that twist, as we're feeling that twist from the waist, we're going to just go ahead and take a nice deep breath in. And exhale. And I just want to mention that you don't go far enough that you're feeling pain, but you just want to feel a really good stretch. One more deep breath in. Good, and allow the body to just float back to center. Okay, maybe just let's just move the shoulders a little bit before we go into our other side. Good, and then from here we'll just head over to the opposite direction. We're going to take the hand across the knee. It kind of helps you make sure you're sitting up nice and tall. Nice deep breath in. You'll feel the lungs open up, especially the one on the left side here. A couple of nice deep breaths. Good, one more. Good, and on the exhale, we just float back to center. Okay, gosh, our time's going so fast. Okay, from here, I'm going to show you how to do a forward fold while we're sitting on the chair. That's something we do a lot in yoga. We do a lot of forward folding. So we're going to lift the hands way up, and then we're going to just drop forward. Now you just extend to the place where it's comfortable for you. And if you can get your chest all the way to your knees, you just drape yourself over. You can let the head hang and the arms hang. And let's just take one breath here. You'll feel the compression, a little bit of the lungs as we're folding, but that's okay. And then just one more breath. Good. And then reaching all the way back up. Nice. Looks really good, ladies. Good. And then we'll just let the hands float back down. And we often just bring our hands back to center here, or back to the heart center. Sometimes we just breathe for a moment. So we have another pose in yoga that's called Tadasana. Tadasana is a standing pose, but we can do it in our chair just by just planting our feet and bringing the hands to heart center. We're sitting up nice and tall, so your spine's nice and lifted, your head's nice and lifted, shoulders are dropped down, and we're just breathing right here. And just as we do it, just press your feet into the floor. And let's just breathe together 3 times. So inhaling and exhaling. And inhaling And exhaling. And one last time, inhaling. And exhaling. Good. That seems simple, but as we press our feet into the floor, you can feel the dynamics of the body as you're just doing something so simple. So we can do a lot of these sort of isometric things by pressing our hands together, pressing our feet into the floor. All of those kinds of things help our body. Okay, so from here, we're going to start to work with our legs a little bit. So again, I want you to sit up nice and tall. You may want to take hold of the sides of the chair, and we're just going to lift one of those legs up. So I'm starting with my left, and you can feel that that's a little challenging, and I want you to pull the abdominals in as you lift, and then we'll set it down, okay? And then we'll lift, and then set it down. And then we'll lift, and set it down. And lift, and set it down. Good. And then we're going to go to the opposite side, and we're going to lift and set it down. So this is a good opportunity if you have sore knees. This is really good for the knees to just get a little mobility, but you only need to go as far as is perfect for your body. One more time. And down. Good. So now we're going to hang on to the chair. We're going to just lift. I know you can't see down to my toes. Oh, here, maybe you can. And I'm just going to start to circle. If you have the mobility to lift like this and, pulling, that's great. If you only want to do one at a time, that's great. But we're going to circle our toes. This is really helpful with the ankle joint. It sometimes gives us problems. And also, I want you to see what you can do about moving those toes around. Good. And then down we go. From here, we're going to take the left knee over the right knee. Now, I want you to do this nice and safely. So we never want to sickle the foot. So what I mean by that is if I torqued my foot like this, that would be sickling my foot. I want to have it in a nice flex position. And I'm just going to bring that across and then also be protective of your knee. So you're going to want this to come a little further up on your thigh if you can. That will help protect that kneecap. We never want to put pressure on the kneecap. So if this is too much of a stretch, you can also just take the foot. A lot of times we'll just take it right to here. Oh, you probably can't see my ankle. I'm just crossing it by my ankle, okay? Or crossing it by the shin. So it just all depends on your flexibility. I can see some of you, this might be a stretch, but if you can get it all the way up here, we can try this. Big breath in, and then we'll just fold forward. And now this is again to whatever degree your body will allow. And we never want to force or, try to, force into a position. We always want to just use the breath. So we're always inhaling and lifting up as we're coming in, and then exhaling, we just relax into the pose. Okay. And we can feel, you should be feeling that stretch here right on the side of the thigh. A couple of more deep breaths here. Good. And if you're not able to get that leg up there, then let's just do a forward fold, just like we just did. So that's always an option. Good. And then coming back up, again, sitting nice and tall. We're going to go ahead and let that foot down and then take the second one. Now, see, I see a big difference in my body, and you'll see a difference in your body from side to side. I've had surgery on this knee recently, and so this one I have to be super careful with, but it's been doing really well. So I feel like I can take it into this position and it's not hurting, but I'm going to take a big deep breath. I definitely can feel it's not as flexible as my other side, but a big deep breath and then just coming forward. Nice straight back if you can. It's also okay to curl over. You'll get a little bit of a different stretch that way, but if you have a nice straight back, you will feel a stretch here on the side of the thigh. A couple of deep breaths. Good. And then just floating that leg back to center. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of something that we do in yoga a lot. It's called cat-cow. So some of you may be familiar with this. So with the cat-cow action, we're going to, as we're seated here, we usually do this on all fours on the floor. But as we're seated here, we're just going to take our hands and put them right on top of our thighs, right next to the knee. And we're just going to roll the shoulders back and down and lift and let the chest open and expand. And at the same time, I'm also lifting my chin. So I'm just kind of thrusting forward, but at the same time, letting my shoulder blades head together in the back. So we're just stretching through the chest here. And then we're going to exhale. And as we exhale, we're going to pull the tummy back and we're going to round the shoulders and just pull way back. You may want to scoot up just a little bit for this one so you have a little bit more room to curl. And we're just going to let the shoulders hunch up and curl. And we're going to let that tummy pull all the way back and exhale out all the air. And then we're going to inhale as we come forward again. And exhale. So just do it to your breath. This is a really good one if you have spent a lot of time sitting and you just have a few minutes to kind of work things out before you have to go back to sitting. This is awesome. It's really good for the spine and the shoulders. Good. And exhale. Good. And then just coming back to neutral. And then from here, we're going to take another little twist. So just taking the hand across. Okay. And just really paying attention to your body, however far it wants to go right now. We don't want any forcing. Breathing in and lifting high and exhaling. Good. And turning back to center and taking it the opposite way. Nice deep breaths. Good. And back to center. So I want to take just a moment observing our body. So I'm going to turn the hands up. I'm going to let the shoulders drop away from the ears, let my feet are flat on the floor. And I'm going to take 3 deep breaths here. So inhaling up and exhale. And as we do this, I want you to explore your own body and just see if you feel a little more open in the chest or if your shoulder feels a little bit more flexible. And one last time. And exhale. Good. Boy, our time has gone so fast. So I think we'll end. I'd like to end with just one more little open stretch here. So we're going to reach up, lifting the hands up, and we're gonna lace the fingers and then just turn the palms up if you're flexible enough. If not, you can just leave them straight, but you can turn the palms up toward the ceiling and just reach super high. Good. And then as you come down, keeping the fingers laced, I want you to bring them right in back of the head till we're just encasing the back of the head. Okay. And then let the elbows come out as much as you can. You can feel that nice stretch. And now from here, we're going to let the head rest back in the hands a little bit. And we're going to open the chest just a little bit more. So in yoga, we do a lot of back bends too. And this is a way to take a nice gentle back bend. Just very simply. So let's take a couple of breaths here. Good. And then from here, we're going to let the elbows curl around our head and we're just going to fall forward. So go to where it feels right for you. And again, we're breathing. Good. And then coming right back up to that little arch again. you'll feel just a tiny little arch in the back here. Good, and then releasing, and we'll let the hands come back down. Now, one of the most important things about yoga, you can just follow me for a minute. I'm going to do a few little hand motions as I'm talking. So the last thing that we always do in yoga is a pose called Shivasana. And in Shivasana, it's basically just laying out on the mat, and we take a few minutes to allow the body to absorb our practice, to have a few moments of rest and restoration. And then at the end, you know, we pick our bodies up new again and are off on our day or whatever we're doing. But I want to do this with us in chair yoga, so we're going to take just a couple of moments of silence. If I were doing this in a normal class, I might give 15 to 20 minutes of Shivasana. So that gives you an idea of what we do. We just obviously don't have time today. But I also would challenge you to take time to rest, because that is one of the things that we don't do in our busy world. And I think that's one of the things that yoga has been so helpful for me, is that it has given me permission to rest and do nothing. We don't have to be making a list or answering the phone or answering a text, but we just rest the body, and it's okay to do that. So we're going to take just a few minutes here. I like to have my palms up for when I'm in chair yoga. This is my position. You do what's comfortable for you, but we're just going to take a couple of moments and just breathe nice and easy. You don't have to think about breathing or anything else, but we'll just rest, and then I'll cue you when we're finished, and we'll finish our practice. So just settling into Shivasana, just inhaling and exhaling, and just sort of letting everything relax and settle back into the chair, just knowing that the chair has your body and that it can just relax. Start to deepen your breath again, inhaling and exhaling. And we're going to bring our hands one more time up and through, and bring them around right into the heart. Roll the shoulders back, sitting up nice and tall. And we always end our practice by saying the words namaste, which mean the light in me sees the light in you. So namaste, my friends. Thank you for letting me come and participate today.
Wow, thank you for Karen. We had no idea all the wonderful things we could do right from a chair. I had no idea you could do cat and cow from a chair. And how we feel our bodies a little bit differently now than when we started. We're aware of them. All right. Well, thank you everybody so much for joining. We'll talk to you later, and namaste to you.
Namaste.
Lovely. Thank you so much.